Hi, my name's Jane and I work on the EY student recruitment team based in our Manchester office. I've been with EY for 9 months now and my job involves me getting out into schools and universities to talk about the different career options we have available. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some good tips today if you're thinking about joining us too. The skills that are needed to succeed in business are changing by the day, and interestingly, although many of these skills can't be learnt in a lecture hall or classroom, they are becoming the most influential. You only have to read a newspaper or watch the news to see reports that academic performance isn't all that matters anymore. Employers are looking beyond traditional qualifications when recruiting future employees, which means that soft skills are becoming more important in the workplace. In particular, personal skills like networking ability, influence and leadership. Today I'm going to talk about what those skills are, how you can build them in everyday scenarios, and give you advice and practical tips to get you prepared for the future of work. As mentioned, employer attitudes are changing. For example, whilst academics remain important, the strengths our people have are more important for career success. Personal skills and qualities set people apart. They're the difference between you and the person next to you. By this, I'm talking about commerciality, influence, leadership, collaboration and networking. Let's go through each of them, what they look like in the workplace and how you can work on developing them. Commercial awareness is a term that refers to your knowledge of business, anything from how businesses make their money to what challenges they face on a day-to-day basis and how they react to these. Employers want to know that you have a broader understanding of the world beyond academia. Things like world events and their effects on business and being aware of new innovations can make a huge difference when impressing employers. For example, learning about the role of e-commerce and the threats or opportunities it poses to the retail industry. Reading key publications like The Economist and the Financial Times can be a great start to staying commercially aware, as can following key editors of the BBC, CNN and Bloomberg business divisions on social media. The Financial Times in particular can give you some great information and we've got some tips on how to get the best out of it. Would you know what to say if a prospective employer said, "What was on the front page of the major financial newspapers today?" Or, "What is the key issue that's facing client X today?" It can be hard to know where to start, but we can help you break it down. The front page or website homepage presents a snapshot for your headline research, so you can grab the general idea of today's events, often accompanied by a 2 or 3 line synopsis of the story. The front page is home to the world market section, great for stocks and shares on companies across the world. It's also helpful to know who the upcoming successful businesses are too. For specific issues facing companies, the companies and markets section is the place to go. This can be helpful because it offers examples of real-world commercial problems and how they are being solved. The Lex column is the place to go for expert opinion and analysis on the hot commercial topics of the day. To look at a completely different yet still important angle, you can also look at papers or indeed social media every morning to see how important personal branding is in today's world. Think about people like the Kardashians or Richard Branson or any other successful business or celebrity. They've built successful personal brands that people buy into. Your personal brand is all about how you market yourself, what impression you paint and how you broadcast your skills. Personal branding is one of the key skills you need when it comes to selling yourself to an employer. For example, when you meet someone for the first time, are you able to introduce yourself in 30 seconds in a way that's interesting enough that they want to find out more about you? It's worth practicing this with your friends or your family if you want to build a personal brand and figure out what your selling points are. Get Future Ready panel expert Bianca Miller advises using the PAC model to build your personal brand. You can actually watch Bianca herself talk through this process in detail on our YouTube channel, but in summary, PAC stands for Presentation, Approach, Communication and Knowledge. We'll start with talking about presentation. You have just 7 seconds to make a first impression. So, what does your clothing, grooming and posture say about you? Next is approach. Consider the signals that your body language will send when meeting someone for the first time. Is it confident, personable, anxious? Think about things like eye contact or shaking hands. Then there's communication. Whether face-to-face, over the phone, or on social media, everything you communicate can affect your opportunities. Last but not least is knowledge. You have knowledge and experience that is unique to you. Think about what you do at school or university, any hobbies you might have, sports you play, or even weekend jobs. You can make this knowledge as interesting as you want, and that's really important when you're telling someone your story. Now we're going to think about networking. Walking into a room of people you don't know and introducing yourself can be daunting, especially when you need to sell your skills or inspire them to invest in you. A lot of modern business is about being a positive networker, but it's more than showing up in a room, introducing yourself and shaking a bunch of hands. It's the ability to sell yourself to new people, to make connections, both personally or in business, and to use those connections to further your own personal brand. The more you can make connections with a wide group of people, giving what you can to them and feeling confident about asking for help in return, the smarter you'll be. But how do you do it? If you're struggling, you can start with the networking opportunities presented in your existing environment. Maybe clubs or societies you're involved with, sporting teams, part-time work colleagues, peers at school or university. Even your immediate family and friends can give you some good names for furthering your knowledge in an industry. They could be part of groups or clubs, and you might be able to join as well. Now we're going to look at a bit at leadership. There have been some great leaders throughout the course of history, from people like Sir Winston Churchill in politics, to Cleopatra, and more recently we can even count sporting people like Sir Alex Ferguson as just some of the people who've used their leadership qualities to change the course of history. Potential employers are always on the lookout for people with leadership qualities, whether they can get the best out of a small finance team of 2 or 3, or lead a team of 200 to deliver an important project. When most people think of leadership, they think of someone who's in charge, presidents, managers or CEOs, or who can speak the loudest and has the biggest presence. But good leadership is not about occupying a position of power, nor is it about being the loudest in the room. It's the ability to move and inspire the people you work with, appealing to their needs and utilising their skills to work towards a common goal. As a leader, you need to be aware of what you have to do and what your team can do. In many cases, leadership is about understanding your team's strengths and using them to achieve a common goal. Professors of business psychology at the University College of London identified 4 key qualities that can contribute to great leadership skills. The first of these is integrity. Integrity means doing the right thing and being true to your word. People with integrity practice what they preach and build trust with people through honesty. Everybody's capable of acting with integrity, but this requires self-control and commitment to the greater cause, be that for a company or yourself. The second key quality is competence. Competent people have expertise in a subject area acquired through experience, formal education, or a mix of both. The third is good judgment. People with good judgment seek opinions from people who see things differently because they know they won't necessarily have the best answer themselves. The last of the 4 key leadership qualities is vision. Great leaders have a higher sense of purpose and long-term strategy, as well as being able to explain it to others. People with vision can enlist others in their cause and turn individuals into vital team players. If you want to start developing your leadership ability, try working on these 4 qualities, or try asking others that know you what they think of your potential. Ask people who are critical and knowledgeable to rate your integrity, competence and vision. Then you can work out what areas you need to improve or strengthen. In an age where dynamic work cultures are pushing boundaries, employers want people who can stand out and influence others to make a positive change. Influence is more than just how people perceive you. It's about being a confident communicator and connecting with people. Ultimately, it's showing people that you can make a difference and encouraging them to make a difference too. So, how do you show people that you can make a difference? Catherine Goyder is a leading voice coach and keynote speaker. She recommends to build influence, you need to develop 4 behavioural pillars. Catherine's advice is to get these pillars on a post-it note, keep them on your wall and apply them each time you need to earn the respect and confidence of those around you. The first pillar, show up prepared. Preparing yourself before you go into a decision is vital. Do your research around the situation and make sure you've got a clear idea of what you want to get out of it. Second pillar, listen. It's important to listen to understand rather than listen in order to give a smart reply. No matter who you're talking to, can you understand their point of view and align them with your vision? Everyone's interesting. What if you had to play them in a movie or write them as a character in a novel? Find what is unique and interesting about all the people you meet. The third pillar, speak your truth. You need to be clear, honest and direct. If in doubt, ask yourself, who am I? Who are we? What's the common purpose? It will help you evaluate the value of what you're planning to say. And the fourth pillar is flexibility. It's key that you can flex your thinking between your perspective and that of others. If things don't go your way, remember that it's rarely personal. So, for example, if you turn up to a meeting, someone has a different idea to yours and everyone goes along with that one, don't fight it. Accept that it's happened and try to add help where you can. Your ability to adapt yourself to different situations will ultimately decide how influential you can be. If you're keen on learning more, our website and social channels offer plenty of tips, advice and information on the skills we've spoken about today. That's all for our employability webinar, but do be sure to listen to the next in our series, Where Do I Fit?, which will be available soon. Thanks very much for listening and good luck with your recruitment journey.